Quick update this week, but I got some fun stuff to share. We're working on the Trans Am, trying to get a little work done after hours on the transmission crossmember, and then the subframe connectors, getting that stuff dialed in. So let's jump right into it. All right, so a quick overview of what we got accomplished. So cleaned up the transition for the subframe connector to the subframe. That's the piece that I showed on the welding bench, last week. Got that welded in as best I could in situ, but it's looking much better. Yeah. The hoop for the exhaust clearance, got that welded in, stitched in a few places, welded around the tube, and then also stitched to the it's late. Stitched to the seat mount cross member, so it should add stiffness everywhere. Just bumped my head, damn it. Let's come back around this side. All right, so trans cross member in, done. I meant to put a straight edge in there and straight edge it across the car, but it looks fine. So same deal on this side, stitched in. I didn't want to like fully weld this because I envision this will get cut back out someday, probably in another 10 years. And then similar deal here with the transition. It actually fit up pretty nice. It welded in nice. Yeah, not bad. A couple little gaps, but I've got the wire speed turned down, a little more control, so whipped it in there nice. And then also the roll bar pad needed touched up, so ground that out and touched that up a little bit. So we're progressing, and next steps are to cut out the floor where the access panel is going to be for the gas tank, and then get the gas tank mounted. Maybe start roughing out the exhaust while it's on the lift, but ultimately I could start it with open headers. So yeah, exhaust is going to be pretty straightforward in the sense that come down, back, X pipe right around this area, split, bullet mufflers. I think I mentioned that before. It should go pretty quick as far as exhaust go. I do have V-bands, so I can pick. I'll probably go from the manifolds to the bullet mufflers in this area, make that whole piece a dropout, and then the over the axle tubes are still on the shelf. Those will get put on as well. So much talky. I may make some kind of like a bolt-in support cross member to hold the exhaust in, or something with some rubber isolators. The motor's not going to move around. The motor is not going to move around very much. Chassis flex and whatnot, I'll probably put some rubber isolators, and then I definitely want to account for thermal growth, but nothing to be scared of. I also need to replace this brake line. I think it's one of the only original brake lines on the car. It needs to be replaced. And also I've got the party brake going in, so I need to run some new brake lines anyway. But all this to say, this stuff looks good. Get a little primer sprayed on it and bring you back for the next step. All right, we're out in the shop today. We're gonna do it a little different because I can't do a consistent format to save my life. So we're in the Trans Am. Depending on where I'm at in the video, I think I've already talked about the transmission cross member. So I'm sitting in the seat. We're not bolted in. This is the BMW seats I salvaged a year ago or so. So they're not bolted down or anything, but I'm getting excited to drive this stupid thing. So I'm gonna try and focus just a little bit, see if I can get this thing to rip. So let me go over a couple things on the inside, and then we'll do a quick walk around the car. All right, so a couple quick things. I threw the power tower shifter in, and you can see the hackery that is, 3 or 4 different transmissions at this point in this car. So I need to make a closeout plate to clear this up, and this is feeling good. Yeah, So where am I at? I have a center console. It's not the greatest thing in the world, and then I want to figure out where I want to put the inline hydraulic rear brake, the hydro, the party stick, whatever you want to call it. I've got the brackets all done, the Willwood inline masters done. So I'm thinking right in this area approximately will be okay. Probably going to build a plate that goes from under the center console up, captures this, and then replaces this close-up panel, and then a rubber boot on top of the shifter. So transmission this is kind of an unverified deal, but it does go through all the gears and seems happy enough. So we'll find out soon. So let's wiggle my adequate posterior out of this thing and we'll take a look around. See, a wee bit dusty. Let me grab a light. The BMW seats do look pretty slick in there, though. I've got them down real low on the floor, and I need to make up some brackets. I don't know if I've talked about these or not. I think I have, but you can grab the release here and release them forward because they came out of a two-door. All the power shit's going away. It's just gonna basically bolt down for the one driver, but that's okay. Quick peek inside. Come on. Quick peek inside the trunk. I've got the cutout done. So we're looking at the gas tank, and then this is the pull-out unit for the dual pumps. Just got it setting in there. So I'm gonna figure out some line routing. I think the battery is gonna go in the low spot right here. So I've got to figure out some piping, and then I think, so we're like above the rear axle, and there's a little gap between the front of the tank and the back of the axle. I think I'm gonna bulkhead fitting down, stainless hard line through that area, get it up to the frame rail, and then I'll go rubber line up to the motor. So I've got some 1/2-inch stainless line ready, and my bender's ready. So you know what? I'm gonna step back. We're gonna grab the battery. Hold on. All right, I really like the looks of that. That's gonna be nice. We'll clean up some of the wire routing. And yeah, so the negative I just had on the body. So we'll probably redo some of the routing, or at least redo the cables. Not my best work. And I'm gonna have the disconnect. I think I'm gonna have an inline fuse, so we'll get this bolted down and maybe clean up the trunk, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. All right, while we're up here, I thought I could talk about what I have left to make it run, and then what I have left to make it go down the road. So to run, at the bare minimum, I need to wire up the Holly, get fuel rails on it, throttle, and fill it with oil, plugs, wires, coils. I have all of that. That would be the barest of bare minimum, just to fire it up and see if it runs. After that, it's going to be heat shrinking the hose clamps. I've got to weld out the last of this, put the radiator fans back in, get that wired up. Lots of wiring to do. Pass through has got to be drilled for the firewall. Wiring to the starter, sensors, air intake. We could figure that out later. Could drive it with manual steering, but it would be not fun. So need to tighten up the lines, hook up the return line, and then major power, and then a activation wire to the power steering, electric power steering, the Volvo setup. I've got to get it measured for a belt. So nothing big and scary, just a lot of little things. I need to get a fitting for the vacuum line for the booster. Yeah, it's not so bad. I welded in a fitting into the radiator for the steam line. It's really not that scary. It's just a bunch of little things to make it, assembled. I have all the pieces. I have a lot of the pieces. Let's see. Coil packs are ready to go. Some of the aluminum bits that are ready to be welded. My overflow tank. This is out of a Camry, I think. I've got to make a bracket up to tuck that into this little spot here somewhere. I don't know. Whoa. All right. I think I want to tuck it right up into this corner. Keep it nice and low, and then the line will go over. I'm trying to keep this area open because I think this is going to eventually be ducted for a cold air intake. Medium term, I want to mount a hairdryer right here, but for this year, I've got plates and insurance on it because I have the 1979 plates for it. Where is it? Here it is. It's cool. You buy the plate one time and you're done. So I've got the plate ready to go. I've got insurance on it. I am ready to drive it just as soon as it runs and drives. So, oh, I forgot the clutch. I've got the McLeod hydraulics, reservoir, all the lines are already in, and then the exhaust. So lots to do, but none of it's scary. We just need to make some time. I almost forgot. I had a user request to go over the stand on my Bridgeport, which I am more than happy to do. So let me zoom in here a little bit and let's just go down and take a look at it. So the main part of it is made by 3x3 by 3/16 box tubing. So I have an angle cut here, and then these are 1/2 inch. That should be tight, but it's not. Those are 1/2 inch square nuts that I welded in at a 45 just so I could weld two sides with the MIG, nice and easy. These are pucks that I machined a hex into. So this is a 1/2 inch bolt that's sinking into it, but there's just enough left that you can put a wrench on it and tighten it. That keeps rust stains off the floor, keeps it looking nice. I always intended to go back and print caps to go over this, but I haven't done it. And obviously the jam nuts are just for visuals. So, why is it this height? I wanted this Bridgeport to be a little bit taller. I've used another one that had a spacer block. Let's get back here. A lot of them have a spacer block on the, like, above the spider on the turret, and that gives you a little more bed height. And I liked the ergonomics. That's a preference thing based on your height, but I like the ergonomics of the handles based on it being just a little higher. So I planned for it to be 4 inches taller, 3 inch with the tube, 1 inch with a gap to the floor. And then the 2 inch box tube, mitered, welded, and then the base plates for the casters. Now you could make these removable. You see I did a quick layout in CAD so that the angles worked out right, where you have plenty of room to swivel 360. You can make them removable. I didn't think it was necessary. It's not like it's in an area where you need the room. If you wanted to make them bolt on, or if you wanted to make this, movable with a pallet jack, that'd be cool too. In case the dimensions are helpful, I'll grab a couple basic dims. The overall length on that tube is about 31, and then the base going the other way. And you could bolt it down. There's places to anchor down to the floor, or these were used on boats, whatever. Grab a quick dim this way. Of course it's going to be difficult. Technical issues. Okay, so we're 37 overall this way, and that could vary based on your machine, but would I do it again this way? Yeah, this served my purposes perfectly. Got the machine where I wanted it from a height perspective, and then also makes it easy enough to level it out. Unlike a lathe, there's no reason to precision level it, but it is nice to have it where stuff doesn't roll off the table. And yeah, that's that. All right, so that's a wrap on week 32. Thank you guys for following along. I appreciate the views, the likes, the comments, the subscribes. This was going in the library, and I'll see you guys next week.